Success. Oh man, nicely done.
That is satisfying.
Thanks for coming back to Supercar Garage today. In the garage, we've got this beautiful MP412C behind us, and it's a great car. It's in good condition, but it has one problem that's really common with the early cars. These cars did not come with soft closed doors. It was not even an option in 2012. In later years, McLaren offered that as an option, and a lot of people chose it. But what do you do if you've got the old car? The good news is it's a retrofit. All we have to do is replace the latches with the new version. The car's already wired for them. So it's really nice, and it's a clean upgrade. It makes a big difference of getting in and out of the car. Let's see what it looks like to get in and out of the car right now with the old latches. Now, because this is a 2012 model, you're going to see there's no door handle, or excuse me, there's no button, there's no lever, there's no mechanism. You literally swipe your hand from here to there just like that, like you're touching an iPad, and it opens the door. Very clever. But when I close the door, you can see it didn't close itself. The window stays up a little bit, lets you know the door's still open. You actually have to close the door with authority. On the outside of the car, it's not too hard. You actually just kind of push through. It does a great job. But as soon as you get in the car, it's a different story. You're pulling from here, and you're putting a lot of force into it. And some people actually end up breaking things inside the door, inside the speaker area. It comes loose from slamming the door repeatedly to get it to close. To make matters worse, what happens when you're on a date? She's over there, she's trying to close the door, or he, depends on who you are, and they can't get it to happen. So they're opening the door, closing repeatedly. It's frustrating, it's embarrassing. We're going to make the supercar super again by replacing these terrible door latches with the new improved soft close. So what is a door latch anyway? It's hidden, we don't even see it. In my hand I have two of them. I've got the driver's side door latch, and I've got the passenger side door latch. The way you tell them apart, on the McLaren at least, there are two cables on the driver's latch, one cable on the passenger's latch. And here's how it works. The door striker comes into this area right here, clicks in, the latch holds it. When you release the latch, the computer sends an electrical signal through this cable, and it just tells it to open. The difference is inside here there's a little motor. When the door striker comes down, it's going to connect and slowly ratchet it in. Bam. Let's go put it in. We want to install the door latch. It's going to go right in behind all these panels inside here. Let's go ahead and start taking some of the panels apart. We've done this once or twice before, but in short, you basically want to remove these panels, this rear trim piece, and voila, here we are to the seatbelt retractor. Let's unbolt the retractor, move it out of the way, and then we'll be able to actually get to our door latch, which is hidden behind all of this. We're going to have some 13mm bolts holding the seatbelt retractor into the car. And it's probably a good time to mention, we're going to be dealing with an airbag connector. There's an igniter here on the back side of this retractor. It's actually right here. It's yellow. If you're doing this yourself, it's highly advisable to go ahead and disconnect the negative battery terminal. Make sure that you're not going to trigger the airbag light, or maybe even possible trigger one of the airbags in the system. So the emergency release strap does have it's connected here, and I should have popped this off earlier, but just give it a little push. We're going to pop that back in later. We now need to deal with our connector over here, and this is something I'd see if we can zoom in with the camera, really get an eye on this, because this is probably one of the most challenging parts. I'm also going to use what I refer to as my third hand. I know I've got two here. Third hand will allow us to hold something for longer periods of time without actually being present. This is going to keep our seatbelt from going back in. See if we can get this little plug loose. Ta-da! It's very short. Please be careful of that. Be mindful. And because we used our third hand, you can see how it's just holding the seatbelt and not retracting it back in there. And here we are. We can now see we've revealed the panel that covers the actual latch. Next step is to remove that panel. We'll have access to the latch, and we're almost done with this side. The next trick is we have to get that plastic panel loose. I can see this car has never had this panel out because it has the original epoxy style sealant. I'm giving it a twist and a pull. And let me tell you, that was pure luck. Usually it is much more difficult than that. So if you're doing it and it doesn't come out that easy, just keep going. And here we have it. There's a safety tab on the clip. Push it back, release the plug, and now we can come around and let's take a look at actually removing the latch itself. All right, there's three bolts here on the outside of the car. It's oriented like this in the car. The cables are up top. I've got my hand on the back of it. Just think about however you end up pulling and moving to bring it out of this cavity. It's going to go back in the opposite of what you're doing. Can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody take it out and they're like, how in the world does it go back in? And you just remember how you pulled it out. Well, we've already removed our electrical connector, and there it is. There's the old unit. You can see they are physically different. This is an updated version. It is well known and documented that this latch can be bought from a Tesla and used on the McLaren, the same latch. The cables are different, but this pops off. We're going to change those in a minute. The challenge we've run into, we actually used to install a lot of Tesla latches on these 12Cs, but we had to buy them salvage from eBay or somewhere else, and we found that the quality just wasn't there. Those latches were already at the end of their lifespan. So do yourself a favor. If you're going to do this job, just go ahead and get the OEM part. You're going to be a lot happier. It's going to last longer and perform better. Trick. Here's the trick. These cables run all the way through the car. One of these cables runs all the way back there past the gas cap, loops back around, comes down, and here for emergency key release. The other one comes right here to this little strap. Let's just take these off and connect them to our new latch. All right. Good news is this is garbage. We're updating these, so we'll bend this out just a little bit to make it easier to get these cables off. Just like that. With the old and with the new.
A whole 25 cents?
Maybe less. I'm guessing. Okay, so we just opened it up, and on this particular unit, the motor's embedded in here. There's a little metal collar that transfers the energy. Notice when I open it, it just fell right out. Be careful, don't lose that. If you end up putting this back together without the collar, I want everybody in the comments down below, tell me what happens if you do not have this little piece of metal in here when you put it all back together. Okay, the ones of you who said the door latch just starts going wah, 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 and it never stops because it doesn't actually do anything. The motor's not connected to the mechanism. You're right. Okay, so now I'm just removing the two new cables. Slide right off of there. Turn them sideways, they come off. I've just reminded myself, I actually said that whole thing because I wanted to remember not to forget to add my collar back on. I'm just starting to think of what a nice upgrade this is going to be. It's going to have a nice soft close feature. It's going to be easy to get in the car. I won't have to slam the car anymore. It's going to make the supercar feel super. All right. So again, our latch is going to sit in here like this. Once you've got it lined up, be sure at this point you remember to plug the new connector in. Hear it? Lock it in. Let's give it a try. Make sure there's nothing in this area here as we close the door. And Look at that. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Let's try it again. Our supercar now has supercar doors. Super soft closed doors. Super soft closed door. SSCDs. It has SSCDs now.
Perfect.
Satisfying.
Super satisfying.
Oh, SSSCDs.
There it is.
Super satisfying soft closed doors. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Of course, the assembly is the reverse of the removal, right? And when you're done, sit back, congratulate yourself. Have a few friends over, take them for a drive in your supercar. Let them see how nice your soft closed doors are. Super satisfying soft closed doors.